Hello and welcome back inside another video. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make an animation using Scratch 3.0. So first of course we want to go to my stuff. And I already got this partially set up. I got the thumbnail because I already did that in a different video, I think. If not, I'm going to make another. Yeah. So we're going to go in here and let's pause until it loads. Okay, it loaded. And so I'm gonna just show you the code real quick that you need to for the beginning of every thumbnail, I'd say, I guess. So I keep it in my backpack, but if you don't, you probably don't, you're gonna get when the flag is clicked, backdrop, switch to backdrop 1, switch to costume 1, and show, and then you want to get a forever block and go to front layer and set ghost effect to 100. So now I want to go back to events over here and get a broadcast block. So basically I want to create a new message, and I like to name them because it helps me remember it better. So I want to name it animation, and I want it broadcast animation right here. And let's save. And let's go to the animation sprite. You should have made a thumbnail right here, and then the animation is this sprite right here. And then you want to get when flag clicked and when I receive animation, and you want to go over to looks. You want to get switch to backdrop and costume 1. Put that right here. It doesn't really matter which one, I just like to put it here. And then you want to get a show and a hide block. You want to put the show one when I receive animation right over here. You want to get the hide block when flag clicked. And then we're going to save. So now we want to actually make our animation, of course. So I'm going over to costumes, and here's my character right here. And I already created the first costume. I'll give you a second to, situate or just pause the video, of course. And what I want to do is get the select tool right here, because I want him to drop down. I want him to drop down. So once you get your select tool right here, this is the select tool, you want to drag it over all of him. And I want to group this because I'm not going to change it right now. And the arrow keys are especially helpful because it's not just dragging it around like that, and it's a lot easier to animate with it. So you want to hold down the up arrow key since he's dropping. So we want to start off about here. Let's save, and you want to right click on costume 1 and then hit duplicate. Export is if you want to download this costume, but I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to hold down this arrow key, and I'm going to stretch him out a little so it looks like he's going super fast. So I want him to be about there. Now we're going to duplicate again. This may be a long process, but it's definitely worth it in the end because you got an amazing animation. You may not be popular like me either, I'm not popular, but it's still really fun and I love doing it. So I think I've stretched him out enough, so I'm just going to be taking him over to the middle point right here. He's pretty stretched out. And then I'm just going to hold down this arrow key. it's kind of hard to get to understand where you want your character to be at the beginning, but once you get used to it, you know how long you want to hold down that arrow key and how many costumes this animation is gonna take, or frames, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so you're just gonna keep on doing this for a while, and eventually you want him to kind of just do that right there. Yeah, sweet. So I want to duplicate him again. Just kind of. And then the next one is going to be the last costume for this, because I'm just going to center him and maybe just. And we're going to be squashing him because of the impact, kind of. This is going to be a lot like Boy McBoy's tutorial. You probably have seen it, and if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. It's a really good tutorial. So now we're going to duplicate again. And we're going to just select all this. I'm going to save real quick. And squash. Just a little bit. Not too much. Just a little. And now we're going to duplicate again. Select all. And continue squashing your character. I'm just going to do this for a few more costumes. Until it's like really squashed. So select all, squash. You don't want to squash them too much, otherwise it will be noticeable in your animation. Even though animation takes lots of time, it's important that you do take lots of time, otherwise it won't end up looking that great. And yeah. So I am almost done squashing my character over here. I'm just gonna do him like for maybe 2 more frames. Depends how squashed I want this guy to be. And squash him. And I think I'm going to do just 1 more frame to get that final squash in. Squash. That looks good. And now I want him to spring back up. But I'm gonna go ahead and teach you more about this code. So let's save. And now we want to go to control and get a repeat until block over here. And then we're going to want to go to operators and get this one, blank equal 50. And how many costumes do we have? Let's see, 17. So instead of 50, we want to put in 17. Because we have 17 costumes. And we want to go over to looks and scroll down and get costume number. If you're using backdrops, then you're going to do that one. I don't know why people use backdrops. It's a lot harder to animate with. But yeah, you can use that if you need it. And then you want to just drag it over here, and you want to go a bit higher up into looks and get the next costume block. And then you want to go back over to control and get a wait 1 second block. So I want it to wait for about 0.02 seconds. And then I'm going to wait 1 second and then I'm going to start the next part of my animation. So let's duplicate this. And so let's see how this looks so far. So he squashes and squashes, squashes. Okay, so he is squashing pretty smooth, I'd say. Pretty smooth. It's not that good. I'm still fairly new to animating, but I think it's a good start. So I think we want to add some audio to make this a bit more interesting. So I'm going ahead and I like to delete this always because my computer lags a lot even when it's just the slightest bit more of anything. I want to get, and you can go over to here and sometimes you can find some pretty good stuff. Sound effects, and I'm gonna get, there's a boing. I'm gonna do big boing. I think that will suit this well. Okay, so I want to go over to sounds and start sound big boing. So let's see how that looks. So that is pretty good, I'd say. And so it's gonna wait 1 second and we're gonna do the next part of the animation where he springs up and does something else. I don't know. So we can actually duplicate these, but I always have to drag them, and it's actually kind of exhausting. I don't know why. I'm kind of lazy, I guess. So I'm just gonna boom. And gradually over time, he is going to spring back up. So I'll figure out how to do a time lapse, hopefully. Probably never learn. I don't know how. It's freaking hard. I've looked at so many tutorials and they don't tell me what to do. And I'm gonna just have him spring up a little bit more. Probably get some background music going. And then I'm gonna make him a little taller, and then we're going to center him again. I'm gonna move him up just a little bit more. And then we're going to center him right here. And I think that looks pretty good. So let's go back over here. We're gonna duplicate this, and how many costumes did that go to? 25 costumes. So we're already pretty good. We're doing pretty good. So how long have I been recording? I think this is gonna need 2 parts, but let's just check this out. So I think that looks pretty smooth. If yes, that looks pretty smooth to me. And we're just gonna stop this video, and I think we're gonna have a part 2 where he next does something else. I don't know. So let's stop recording and do part 2. Bye. 3,